have them taken around Zoom, but then you say, well, but then the people in here have to do something.
Okay, welcome to everybody. This presentation is going to be by the Compassion. Okay, welcome to everybody. This presentation is going to be by the Compassion in Action Committee. There we go. Okay, and we welcome the people here and the people on Zoom also. We're going to be talking about growing hope globally. And now we can start with Catherine Siegel.
Anybody'd like to speak, you can come up and take your mask off. It's one of the perks these days of speaking here. And let me add to Mary's welcome. Welcome to everyone here and also to those who are streaming from home. I've invited our partners from the farmers market, but I don't see any of them right now. If I'm missing you, please stand up. I'd like to introduce you. We can hope they'll come later. I'm here with several members from the Compassion in Action Committee. We're here to share information about our program, which has been called Eat Local, Grow Hope Global. 3 years ago, this committee chose a food security program to support, and then we divided the program into two parts. The first part is Eat Local, which promotes shopping at our local farmers market. And our second part promotes Growing Hope Globally, which is a large nonprofit which supports people in areas of the world that are hungry, and it helps them to grow food and raise their own food so that mitigates their hunger. Starting with our Eat Local outreach, we have videos that we took of 4 of our partners at the farmers markets, and let's listen to them now. This is the
Not the most flattering.
This is the project called Eat Local, Grow Hope Global, and I am with Ramon Angeles.
Sí.
Buenos días, Ramon.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, sí. Those 2 questions, please. Tell us why we should eat local food.
And the best important when you eat local food is the food that got more flavor, it's fresh, it's different when you eat something that you don't know where they're coming from. And then you can support the grower, local farmer, starter working.
There are more than one reason for sure.
Yeah.
And remember when we talked about supporting Growing Hope Globally in Guatemala, why did you say yes to help us with that partnership?
Because we can, in this situation that we live in right now, that too many people have hungry, all the products go up because not too many people are producing food. And that time the country, they said they had too many people needed food, cheap and easy. And right now they have a lot of hunger because everything the price go up. And the economy is straight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for partnering with us again.
Okay.
Now I'm with Jess, who has a table for soil to sweets and a very interesting story. First, I want to ask you 2 questions, and then maybe you can hit a bit of your story. Why do you think it's important to eat local?
Eating local has a lot of benefits to it, but I'd say the top 3 for me would be to support our local community directly by buying produce from our farmers here who are growing them, by also promoting healthy eating and nutrition into our families in the community, And then also just the fact that it tastes way better when it's fresh and local because it's not traveling halfway across the country to get to you.
Thanks. And do you remember we asked you to join and partner with us in supporting Growing Hope globally? Why did you say yes?
Absolutely. So I thought that this was a really unique program because a lot of things that I find that people are trying to help, especially in other countries, are not sustainable. People will go and they have all the best intentions of helping a community, but then once that organization leaves, the community can't keep up with the goals and help the community themselves. So since this here program, they're setting them up for a sustainable, realistic goal to help the community and especially the women in the community, I just really thought it was special and that it would actually work.
And now can we move on to your interesting story? You're a farmer by day and a baker at night. Tell us what that means.
Absolutely. So I have 2 agricultural degrees from UF and I love growing food and helping my community. I work at an organization called Farm to School where all of the food that we grow goes to school cafeterias. We have school gardens, field trips, and additionally I work with students with disabilities to teach them how to garden and farm. So it's a huge passion for me, but I've been baking since I was a little kid with my grandma ever since I can remember, and I just have a huge passion for it. So I like to combine the two and use a lot of local produce that I bought from farmers markets or grown myself to make sweet treats.
Zakovich from the Vine Sourdough Bakery, and she's been a partner with us since the very beginning. Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Happy to do it.
So we've got 2 easy questions for you.
Okay.
Why do you think it's important to eat locally?
Well, I mean, you're helping people who live in our community and the Gainesville community to grow and thrive and to nourish the community. So by giving us support, you're supporting the people who live in this town and also support the community with hopefully good, nourishing food.
And we talked about partnering with Growing Hope globally for the project down in Guatemala, and you said yes. Why did you say yes to that?
Well, I believe that it's a win-win to kind of throw the support around. So, I appreciate you, the Church of Gainesville, kind of helping to generate interest in our business by sending people our way through this effort. And then I believe strongly in supporting efforts that help, people who are in need in whatever form or fashion. And so I just, it seems like a win-win to me that, you're sending people my way and I'm supporting you also in this fabulous effort to kind of help fight food insecurity and grow nourishing food for people in Guatemala. I think there's nothing better. I mean, it's obvious. I'm going to do it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Santa, it's good to see you. You're managing the GNV market at Heartwood now, right?
Yep.
Last year. And you said yes to partnering with us. So tell us how GNV Market at Heartwood, how that fits in with this project of promoting eating locally. Why that's
Sure. So the GNV market, we have vendors from all over Gainesville. We have small farms, we have larger farms, we have local producers feeding local consumers. And so for every dollar that is being spent here, it's staying within our local economy. It's providing farmers with business and it's giving people really nutritious, good food, because we know that small farms provide more nutritious food. So we've got nutritious food, local food, and it's not just farms. We also have, other local producers that produce all kinds of things. We've got, value-added products, we've got art, we have massage therapists here. So it's a gathering, it's a community gathering space, which is really important, as you know. But then it's also, important for the local economy. And then as that relates to the global, local food is always useful because the more localized things are, the less money is being spent on, epic amount of transportation, on, keeping things safe with like processed, chemicals and stuff. So, we're keeping things nutritious, simple, local. I think it's a perfect partnership.
You also said yes to supporting Growing Hope Globally, that project in Guatemala. Why?
Well, I think it all ties in. I think local farmers are local farmers everywhere. So especially, women that are women farmers. We have a lot of female farmers here in Gainesville. So it seems like a fitting partnership.
Thank you so much. So that was 4 of our 16 partners. And anytime you get to a farmer's market and you see them, please interact with them. They're just really super interesting folks that are now partnering with us with our food security program. This is the audience participation time. So you just heard some of their reasons for partnering with us. Can we just kind of summarize why should we be eating locally? What are those reasons? Right. We get fresher food and we know the source of it. Yes.
Good for the environment, less transportation, and you eat it where it comes from.
Right. We're not putting so much money into fossil fuels to transport it from who knows where. Any other ideas? Yes.
Sustain the whole agricultural economy.
Yes. If that doesn't keep going, the next time the food chains disappears, where will we get our food from? So, I mean, there's a real selfish part of this to keep it going. Yes, Aaron.
It's really nice to be able to thank the person who like through and harvest, did all that work, be able to look at your hard work. I mean, how often do we get to really thank someone who
Exactly. And if I could piggyback on that, when I asked people that were farmers to come here today, they said, we have to work. They work, 7 days a week. They don't have a day off. Yes. Yeah.
I have a question. Which farmers markets are they at of the 16 people? Because we're so fortunate that we have so many. Are they just at?
Okay, well, let me answer that right now. Mondays at 4 o'clock, they're at the Grove Street Market. Several of them are there. And then on Thursdays, the GNB Market that's next to Depot Park, several of them are there. And then on Saturdays, quite a few of them are at the, what do you call it, the 441 Alachua County Market. And I think a couple are out at Hale, but that was a little beyond my scope.
Swallowtail, one of the Swallowtail markets, are they one of our partners?
They are one of our partners.
I know they're.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for feeding that back. Okay, and so why does this, yes, Wendy.
Good morning. I just have one thought that shopping at farmers markets kind of humanizes us. It reminds us that food isn't just always nicely displayed in Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, that there are people behind the vegetables that we ingest. And also, for me, it inspires me to have a plant pot of basil. It gives me that feeling of, I can do this too.
And some of us have been lucky enough to take children or grandchildren and introduce them to the whole, it doesn't always come on cans or on the grocery store shelf. So it can be an educational experience, time out for that. Yes, Celia.
Yeah, to add to that, we're saving all that plastic.
Yeah.
Packages,
Yeah.
there's stuff
So-
and Publix.
So I hope when I'm out there talking to our partners, I'm going to bump into some of you there too. I know I already have bumped into some of you shopping at the farmers markets, and they've been grateful for the support. So how does this help our big project of food security? Some of our answers have kind of touched on. We want to make sure that we and the people in our neighborhood, whether it's a near neighborhood or a far neighborhood, aren't hungry, right? So how does this help that?
Well, I guess I can give an example. I worked for 25 years with the U.S. Department of Agriculture as research entomologist, and I first worked on citrus when I moved to Florida in the mid-'80s, and then with vegetable crops, and finally moved up here to Gainesville from Orlando and worked with biological control, always trying to develop methods to both understand what's going on in the system and try to help them to grow better. Toward the end of the 2000s, I worked with Rosie at her farm, her organic farm here close to Gainesville. And we were working on biological control to control some of the insects that were bothering her crops and others locally. So I've always believed in helping both locally and globally through research.
Taking care of our near neighbors and then keeping the hopefully supporting the prosperity so we can take care of our further neighbors too. Martha.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the global part of this, which is growing hope globally. In 2019, Compassion in Action chose Growing Hope Globally to receive UCG's annual donations to combat hunger. The group began in 1999, and it uses donations to fund agricultural development programs overseas, has served over 2 million people, and helped them to grow lasting solutions to hunger. So in the Western Highlands of Guatemala exist some of the highest levels of child malnutrition and stunting in the world. To alleviate these problems, Growing Hope Globally partners with other organizations to build greenhouses and to teach women how to grow vegetable gardens. The indigenous communities there continue to suffer from armed conflict and the lack of government funding. This program helps bring women together in the greenhouses, and as they work together, they can feed their families more nutritious meals and earn an income through the sales of their vegetable crops. When they come together like this, they also see challenges facing their communities and can work together to identify solutions. In some of these communities, women from the program have been elected to public office.
Next, we have a video prepared by Growing Hope Globally, a big nonprofit, about the project we chose. So if Tristan, please could start the video.
Over the last 9 years, Growing Hope Globally has been working in partnership with Church World Service and CIADEG to support Maya Ixil communities in the Western Highlands of Guatemala. In this region, more than 50% of children are malnourished. As part of the program, more than 40 greenhouses have been built, allowing people to cultivate crops year-round that they would normally not be able to grow due to altitude or weather. Each greenhouse is managed by a group of 5 to 7 families. Additionally, women have been trained on growing traditional crops near their homes. Vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, and dark leafy greens provide nutrition and generate income from local sales. Because of these efforts, nearly 2,000 people are now directly benefiting from the crops that they are growing. My name is Marta. I live in the community of Flores de Toranza. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. I'm here in my garden, and I am so thankful and happy to be a part of this program. The greenhouse gives me tomatoes and bell peppers that I couldn't grow without it, and the garden provides food for my family. Here in our community, the biggest change that I've seen is that there aren't hungry children here anymore. Thank you for helping families thrive in Guatemala and around the world.
Good morning. I'm Sue Shakow, and I just want to tell you a little more about the backstory of how CIA made this decision. We were given the opportunity to choose a number of locations. Growing Hope Globally works all over the world with people who have food insecurity. We learned that in Guatemala from 1960 to 1996, they had a civil war for 36 years. That's a long time. And all three women that I'm going to tell you about were born in this situation under very adverse conditions. The first one is Elena. She was born 36 years ago, married, had her husband abandon her and her 5 children. She tried to eke out a living for a number of years on beans and corn only. For her, this program has changed her life, and she is so grateful for it. She's about to become involved in an animal husbandry program. This is something new. They're going to start with sheep. But I'm going to read you from her own words what she says this program has done for her and her family. Elena smiles as she says, the program trained me and guided me on diversifying my little farm. I'm now producing green peppers, chili peppers, jalapenos, tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, beets, chard, radishes, coriander, pumpkin, and other products. I feel happy with the work I do in my garden and my greenhouse because it means I can feed my children and earn an income also selling the beautiful shirts that you saw the women wearing. This is something that is particular to their region, and a couple of women that are involved in the program actually make those by hand, and they were really beautiful. So that is about Elena and her 5 children. You can only imagine what she's gone through to support those 5 kids. And when I read about all the vegetables they're now eating, I couldn't help but think this truly has changed her life. Going on to the other 2 amazing women, Juana actually has a little more secure background. She's married, continues to be married, and she and her husband were actually able to have a small store originally, but she's been involved in this program since 2014. She especially is grateful for the greenhouses. Excuse me. They apparently have a climate that doesn't allow them to grow some of these vegetables without the greenhouse. So this has made a huge difference in their lives. And there are 6 women who are involved in this particular greenhouse, and they grow enough vegetables to feed all of their families and take the rest to market. She mentions that last year they grew 2,000 pounds of tomatoes and were able to sell many of those at the local market. And of course, all of this really couldn't be accomplished without community leadership. And Petrona, the third of these amazing women, her backstory is quite compelling. She and her family had fled their village, but even as they reestablished themselves, the leaders of their community, of which her parents were part of, were accused of working with the rebels, and they were killed when she was a child. She fled to a nearby city and became a maid, where she was treated very badly, humiliated, and lived a life of abject poverty. In 1996, the government made all kinds of promises to these people that they would be food secure, that they would have clean water, that they could live without fear. And frankly, that hasn't proven to be true. And Petrona is so grateful for this program because this program, Growing Hope Globally, is what has given her the ability to live a life with all of those things that I think most of us just take for granted. These 3 women do not. And she is very important to this project and is known to be a community leader and helping them each year plant their own seeds, grow diverse vegetables for the community and their own families. And CIA is really proud to be a part of this. Thank you.
Oh, my name is Cheryl, and I'm part of the CIA committee, and it's a great honor to be able to be a part of this organization and this group. Gives us hope here for our local farmers and hope and encouragement that we're doing just a little bit to help those folks in Guatemala and other areas. So we are hoping that you will all join us on November 10th. We're going to have a break fast. I call it a break fast feast. We're going to have a potluck dinner here. You are all welcome to come if you want to provide some food. The very magic word here, printed in blue in many of the documents that you get, says if you would like to donate, it's magic to me. You click here and then you go to places. Or if you want to donate food, you say click here and you can donate food if you wish, but you don't have to, just come. This room will be set up for safe spaces for us to eat inside. Or if you choose, you will be able to have your feast outside in the courtyard. There will be chairs and tables set up out there. So please come join us and enjoy the cool afternoon, evening. It might be even cooler on the 10th, or it might be 80 degrees or whatever. But please come and help us support the Guatemalan project by your donations, help support our community and our farmers. By the way, they'll be at the farmers markets all year long. In fact, some of the produce is now just getting excited about growing in this cooler weather. So please support our neighbors and here locally and globally. And I want to do a couple thank yous. One, everybody in our CIA group, but Jeff videotaped the farmers for us, which worked out beautifully. And again, the magic of Tristan, I mean, you know, putting all this stuff together is just really phenomenal. And thank you very much, Tristan, for doing it. So thank you. And Catherine is the brains behind all of this. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, two things. Catherine writes the script and I go ad lib, so. This is a handy dandy soup tray. If you come, you can sample all the varieties of soups and salads and desserts. You don't have to have as big as one as I do, but I'm enjoying thinking about all those soups that I'm going to enjoy. And one of our local artists has created, it's out in real life, out in our courtyard, the fountain. She has done a block print for us. And those of you who attend will receive a packet of these as you leave. This is our fountain. This is, tell me her name, Catherine.
Diane Tonneson.
Diane Tonneson is the artist who has done this. So as a thank you from us and from Diane, you'll receive one of these. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. This is great. We got questions and answers now. Go.
And then we also bring a check. Oh, I forgot the money part. You know, how to go from our lovely soup to helping the
Okay. Okay, sure. So the question is, the long tradition here at UCG is that we fast for a day, and then thinking of hungry people, we write a check. You know, whatever amount you want to write, and you bring it to the Breakfast Feast, and that check then goes to support the program. So there's several ways you can donate, and you know, I didn't ask you to ask that question. Several ways. The several reminders that have gone out to you from the church have one of those magic blue links that you can, if you want to donate here, you push that button and it helps you find some money to donate. The money comes back to UCG. Catherine Cakes segregates it when it's for Growing Hope Globally. And then at the end of the month, we'll put all the money together. We'll write one check, we'll send it to Illinois and tell Illinois we want it to go to the greenhouse program. That's what we've done for the last 2 years. Now, we hope you all will show up for soup and salad on Wednesday night. And if you do then, you can bring a check, if that's what you prefer. You can even bring cash. I'll make sure we take cash too. But we'll also take credit cards. And one of our committee members is been trained by Catherine on how to use the square. So we'll have a little donate table and you can do it then. And then those that have arrived and been generous will get a little bundle of Diana Tonnison's little note. And they are postcards. So on the back of it, you can use it as a postcard. Mine may get framed and hung on the wall. It's so beautiful, but it's Coming to the Waters is the title of this block print that Diana has done. We think it's wonderful. So if none of those, you think about this next week, then call Catherine or go find that blue link and donate whenever it is you want to. But all of the money that we raise annually, this is our one and only global outreach through UCG. So all of that money will get sent to Guatemala to help the program with the greenhouses. And I think we've done a really good job of bringing some of those stories back to you today. Okay, more questions or more answers? Yes, sir.
What time is the dinner?
6 o'clock. And the weather report says it'll be warmer on Wednesday. So please. Yes, Sharon.
I'd like to say that the past 2 years, we raised over about 4,000 or a little over for this project. So we hope this year will be continue that tradition.
Sharon's remembering that even during the middle of the pandemic, when we were afraid that none of this could happen without our soup get together, we found a lot of generous donors, including the partners at the farmers market. And I think the check was close to $5,000 this last year. So I thank everyone for your past generosity and hope you'll remember Wednesday. Yes.
I don't know how the farmers help.
The farmers.
Do they donate money that goes to the project?
Well, so it's an interesting combination here. We're the only program in Florida that works with Growing Hope globally. And our farmers, Teresa from the Vine is donating the bread that we're going to eat. The other farmers are going to just think about how much they want to write a check for, and they know I will be visiting their farm stands. Some of them I hope will be here on Wednesday and we can meet with them and talk about their stories. Let's hope, but they are busy people. They made a commitment and, I'll be there.
I'd like to say one thing to the people on Zoom. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat and we will read it.
I'm sorry, streaming people. I did forget that part of Mary. Any other questions or comments? Well, I thank you all. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Just sort of a thought out loud that maybe next year we can find some ways to get our kids in on this too, to kind of start with them early and to build some awareness and some understanding. I don't know if there is, but if there isn't, that would be a great.
If you're not running off somewhere else, the comment was, how do we get the younger children involved in this project? And you heard the woman from Jessica who Soil to Sweetens who's already working in the schools. She's willing to come here and start a vegetable garden. I just need the energy to come back to meet her to start a vegetable garden with our children here. So there are ideas and there may even be better ideas. So yeah, I think it's a whole family approach to food.
To the dinner as well.
Yes, yeah, families, children are welcome to come. I think it's basically 4 chairs to a table, so we can rearrange a bit if the family unit is larger than that. But yes, we hope to see families. It's early enough at 6 o'clock. We'll have a small program. So it won't be long. You've heard most of it. Yes. How many people in person?
Yes. How many people are attending in person?
Right now or on Wednesday?
No, here, right now, we're asking about 25.
Oh, so Mary says about 25 people are here live today. And I hear the church service, early service was really filled. The parking lot was filled. So UCG is coming out live. And I saw 20-ish people sign up for soup and salads was my best guess for Wednesday. I'm hoping more people will be energized by looking at their calendars and sign up to join us on Wednesday for our traditional breakfast. So thank you. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting there's questions in the chat out there.
That's fine.
Okay. So if you'll talk to me about children and maybe give me some more contacts to brainstorm this, I think that's a really great way to, children have to eat. We want them to eat healthy food and yes. Well, again, thank you all for taking time out today to come support Eat Local, Grow Global.